Have you ever brought home a gorgeous bouquet of flowers only to watch it just sadly droop a few days later? Ugh, it's the worst, right? Well, today we're going to unlock the secrets, the actual science, to keeping those beautiful blooms looking fresh and vibrant for so much longer. Let's dive in. Yeah, does this look a little too familiar? That sad, bent neck on a rose or a daisy that just gives up. It feels like such a waste. But here's the good news. A lot of this is totally preventable once you understand what's really going on inside that little stem.
So what is the deal here? We're about to uncover the real truth behind why flowers wilt. And I'm telling you, it's probably not what you think.
Okay, so most of us, we see a wilting flower and we think, oh, it's thirsty. It just needs more water. And you know, you're not wrong, but you're not exactly right either. That's only part of the story. Here's the critical thing to understand. The flower is trying to drink. The vase is full of water, but that water just isn't getting where it needs to go. So, what's stopping it? The problem is a blockage, a traffic jam, right inside the stem. Think of the stem as a straw. If you're trying to drink a smoothie and a little piece of fruit gets stuck, it doesn't matter how much smoothie is left in the cup. You're not getting any of it. It's the exact same idea with your flowers. And this blockage actually has a fancy scientific name. Xylem occlusion. The xylem, those are just the tiny little tubes inside the stem that act like a plumbing system, pulling water up to the petals. When they get clogged or occluded, that whole water highway just shuts down. The flower is thirsty even though it's sitting in a vase full of water. Which, of course, leads to the million-dollar question. If the stem is all clogged up, what in the world is doing the clogging? Well, the answer is something you can't even see. Meet the villain of our story. Bacteria. These microscopic organisms are, without a doubt, the #1 enemy of your beautiful bouquets. They're everywhere, in the water, on the stems, hiding in your vase. Seriously, research from places like the National Institutes of Health shows that bacteria just go wild in vase water. They multiply like crazy. They don't just physically block up the tubes, they also create this slimy gunk that completely gums up the works. It's like a biosludge that seals the stem shut from the inside. And the impact is just staggering. Research from floral experts at Floralife found that something as simple as using a dirty bucket can slash a rose's vase life by a whopping 20%. Think about that. A huge chunk of its life gone because of one little mistake. And these guys are not one-trick ponies. They have a whole playbook of sneak attacks. That bent neck we saw? Classic sign of a bacterial blockage. They also produce ethylene gas, which is basically the aging hormone for plants that tells your flowers, all right, time to check out. And yep, they're the ones responsible for that funky, smelly water, because they just love to feast on any leaves or gunk you leave in the vase. Okay, so how do we fight back against this invisible army? Our first line of defense is all about giving your flowers the best possible chance to get a drink. We're calling it rule #1, the perfect cut and drink. And it all starts with your tools. This is so important. You've got to use sharp floral shears or a knife. The experts at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden warn against this. Do not use your regular household scissors. Even if they feel sharp, they're designed to crush, not slice. They pinch those delicate water vessels shut. You're basically choking the flower before it even gets a chance to drink. A clean, sharp slice keeps those channels wide open. So here's your new 4-step routine. It's super simple. 1. Have your clean vase with water ready before you cut. 2. Strip off any leaves that are going to end up below the water line. Remember, that's just bacteria food. 3. Cut at least an inch off the stem at a nice, sharp 45-degree angle. That gives it more surface area to drink from. And 4, this is crucial. Get that stem into the water immediately. I'm talking seconds. They can start to seal up that fast. All right, want to know a little secret from the pros? Flowers actually slurp up lukewarm water. So not hot, not cold, way more easily. The molecules just move faster. And they love slightly acidic water. A lower pH not only helps water travel up the stem more efficiently, but it also makes it a really terrible place for bacteria to grow. It's a win-win.
Okay, so we've cleared the path for our flowers to drink. But what should they be drinking? This is rule #2, and it's all about nutrition. We need to feed the flowers while we starve the bacteria. And that is where flower food comes in.
So what is in that little packet anyway? It's not magic dust. It's a really smart 3-part cocktail. First, you've got carbohydrates. That's just sugar, which gives the flower the energy it needs to stay vibrant. Second, you have biocides. Fancy word, but it just means a disinfectant, like a tiny, tiny bit of bleach that kills all that nasty bacteria. And third, you have acidifiers, like citric acid, to lower the water's pH right into that sweet spot we just talked about.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What about all those home remedies, like dropping an aspirin or a penny in the vase? Well, sorry to break it to you, but they're pretty much myths. Aspirin is a really weak carbohydrate, but not nearly as good as plain old sugar. And while copper can act as an acidifier, modern pennies have so little copper in them they just don't make a difference. Your best bet is always that commercial packet or a good homemade recipe.
This brings us to our third and final rule. And honestly, this is the most important one of all. If you want total victory over wilting, you absolutely have to become a sanitation fanatic.
And if you need any proof, just look at this. The picture says it all. On the left, flowers in a clean, properly prepared solution. On the right, the exact same flowers, but in water that's contaminated with bacteria. The difference is it's dramatic and it's undeniable. Cleanliness is everything.
So here's your new checklist. Scrub your vases with hot, soapy water every single time you use them. Clean your cutters to avoid spreading bacteria from one stem to another. Every 2 or 3 days, you have to completely change out the water and add fresh flower food. And the second you see a leaf fall into the water or a flower start to wilt, get it out of there before it becomes a bacteria buffet. And that's really all there is to it. It's not magic, it's just science. Your secret weapon is just 3 simple rules: a perfect cut, the right food, and being absolutely obsessed with cleanliness. If you can master these, you will defeat that invisible enemy and enjoy your flowers for days longer than you ever thought you could.
So the power is officially in your hands. You know the science, you know the strategy. The only question left is which lucky flowers are you going to help live their absolute best, most beautiful life?